Hi, my name is Bruce Alexander and I'm the Managing Director of Montezuma's Chocolates. We are based down in Chichester on the south coast, and today I wanted to share a little bit about my career and some of the choices I'd made. But before I do that, I wanted to give sort of three, I suppose, key lessons that I'd learned throughout my career. So if you don't know what you want to do, I think really in choosing your career, it's just as important to know what you don't want to do as you do want to do. And I certainly wouldn't advocate fixating yourself around getting into one particular company. Be open, be flexible, but as I say, knowing what you don't want to do is just as important as what you do want to do. The second lesson that I've learned is take every opportunity that you can. Even if it's maybe something that you wouldn't choose to do, you will learn something. And learning, whether it's a positive learning or a negative learning, will always help in your future career. And my final lesson, or a piece of advice, is that people don't get lucky, you make your own luck. There's a very famous golfer called Arnold Palmer who said, the harder I practice, the luckier I get. And that is maybe a bit of a cliche, but honestly, the more you put in, the more you will get out. So if I just reflect on my career, I went to Oxford Brookes University, where I did a business studies degree. I didn't really know what I wanted to do all the way through. I was a mediocre student. I had to work hard to get the result I did, but in my third year I did a placement year with McVitie's Biscuits. It was at that point that I decided that it was an industry that I loved. I like food, I enjoy food. And once I graduated, I went back to McVitie's and I spent 3 or 4 more years there. At that point, I then decided to move to Nestle. Now, Nestle is a massive organisation, and I knew that things that I did there, decisions I made, wouldn't necessarily have an impact on the total business, because it's an oil tanker of a business. But I knew that the experience I would get, the training that I would get, would be invaluable. And in the end, I spent 15 years at Nestle. I had a load of wonderful roles. The variety was immense, but the highlight for me was spending 3 years in New Zealand as the sales director. And as much as I loved to have stayed there, sadly I had to come back again. I did another couple of years at Nestle, and then really in my early 40s, having done 15 years with Nestle, I could have stayed there. I loved it. The people were great and the culture was great, but I wanted a new challenge, and I left there and did a very left field move, and I went to work for National Express. And as much as it was really positive in that I learned that my skills were transferable, I realised that I could never really be passionate about transport and the transport industry. And I then left there and I went to work for Lucozade, Ribena Suntory. So this business was a massive business, big brands. The brands had been bought by Suntory, so from Glaxo, and we were effectively a 500 million startup. So it was highly entrepreneurial. We were having to learn new processes. We were in a new office. It was a really exciting time. I loved it. And again, I learned a huge amount there. I then went to Kerry Foods. Now, Kerry isn't probably a household name, but it's a massive organisation that makes a huge amount of ready meals that you find in all the major supermarkets. We also had a few brands there as well, and I loved it. The culture was amazing. The people were amazing. I had absolutely no intention of leaving, but I was delighted to be approached, and this is where I am now. It's my dream job. So I run the Montezuma's chocolate business. It's not a big business. It's certainly not on the scale of Nestle. I unlock the door in the morning. I turn the alarm on at night. But we have a business that has its own retail stores. We supply to Sainsbury's and Waitrose and John Lewis. We have our own online business, and we also have a big export business to the US. So my role is highly diverse. I have a factory to manage as well. And I absolutely love it. But it's the ability for me to do this job, the confidence that I've got, that I've gained through working with the likes of Nestle, with the likes of National Express, and with Lucozade and Kerry. And that's where I am here. So hopefully I will stay here for many more years to come. It helps that I love chocolate. It's a very difficult product not to love, in fact. So as I just close out, I think my parting piece of advice is do a job that you love, because if you love it, you'll be passionate about it, and that will be infectious and you'll inspire others. And my final point is believe in yourself, because if you don't, then nobody else will. Thanks very much. Good luck with everything. Bye then.